The team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
Woo woo.
Rise and energize.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh my gosh. I want to know how you have been, because we haven't talked about this yet. Your family's not there with you right now, which if you were my husband, he would say is an energy drain, because every time I'm out of town or I'm like not there with the kids, in theory, he's like, I'm going to get so much stuff done. I'm going to do all the things. And then suddenly he gets like drained of energy because we're not there. His whole schedule is completely different. And he ends up actually not getting to all those things because, fascinatingly enough, it just throws him off completely. Have you been able to focus because the family's not around, or does it sort of throw your energy completely off like my husband?
Well, the kids and my wife are definitely an energy gain for me, meaning there's so many times where I am tired or exhausted, and maybe I had a business meeting go sideways, or maybe I got some information that stinks in business. Maybe a client had a tough situation and we had to pause, or something popped up, or they lost an employee that runs their, marketing team, and that's who we were consulting or working with. And so all these things happen in business that bring my energy down that I can't control. Right. And we talk a lot about that in this show specifically, like you can only control what you can control. So in this situation where I would come home and I would say, okay, I don't want to be Superman at work and Clark Kent at home. So snap into a reframe, get your energy back, be super dad right now. And I don't have that right now. So, yesterday we had a situation where clients just all kind of, they're like I was just saying, like this person left and then they hired someone and that person's not going to work out. And so basically they want to pause with us, which is the right thing to do for their business. Like I can't say that, hey, keep hiring me when I'm going to coach an employee you don't have, right? But I came home, and in that situation, usually I'm like, okay, reframe, get out of that headspace, go, I can't wait to see Ellie and Caitlin and James, and they weren't there. So I think for me, I don't get that, like, all right, change your headspace. You've got to be dad now, and you've got to show up for your family. I kind of dwelled in it yesterday a little bit. So I think for me, that's tough. Because they are the smile and the sunshine when it's raining, but I also think that it's allowed me to do some things that I just have played catch up on, right? Like reorganizing the garage and, deep cleaning the house and doing things that I actually enjoy. Like I actually do like to clean. I actually do like stuff to be in the right space, and you call it what you want, OCD or whatever, but like I do enjoy those things. So having time to do those is an energy gain, but getting to no one is an energy drain for sure.
Well, I also think that number one, it's great because it shows you like how much you miss them, right? And how beautiful it is to have family around. But I also think that having that space sometimes is good, because like your brain is always going, like mine is, right? Like our brains are constantly going. And so when you have that additional, like now I have to be wife, now I have to be mom. When you have that on top of, now I'm business owner, and now I'm mentor, and now I'm coach, and now I'm producer, and now I'm editing, and right? Like it just keeps going and going. I think sometimes that space is good. Yes, can it be an energy drain? Because like you said, you don't have that like sunshine in your life in the day that your family brings you. But also I think it can be an energy gain because number one, you're observing like, wow, my life really is different without them and I don't like it. And number two, like, okay, now it's time to play catch up. Because those times when I'm not present with them because I'm working on all this stuff, it really does frustrate me. So when you have that space where it's like, okay, I don't have to like play these other roles, I can just catch up. That can be such an energy gain. But I want you to use the time. Like, I'm hoping that you really are using that time of them being away. But that means you're chicken dad, right? For people who don't
Chickens
know,
and I
what you have now in your yard.
chickens and I have spent some more time than most the last couple days. Yeah. No,
He's
I
chicken
think you're
dad.
right, Rachel. You know, it's one of those situations where the grass is greener, right? Like sometimes, and I'm a human, and I'll be honest and vulnerable. Sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, like I wish I just had 10 minutes to do this thing. Like I just need to do this. I've been thinking about it. This is the 10 minutes. And then, you know, Ellie comes running in with crayons all over the white wall and, you know, dumping out her water on my laptop bag. Right. And it's like you get frustrated and you're like, oh, but then you go a period of time and it's like, dang, where's Ellie? Why isn't she running in drawing on the walls? Right. So like you have those reflection points, but I think to what you're saying is like, yes, how can I take advantage of it? Meaning like focus and flow and clarity. I wrote some poems yesterday. I've never written poetry in my life.
You serious? Like having space to yourself allowed you to write poetry?
I wrote 5 poems yesterday.
That's fascinating, Jim. Are you going to share the poems in the community? Shut up.
I might. They're very short and spontaneous and may not necessarily make the most sense because it really was the first time in my life. Wow, it was the first time in my life that I ever wrote spontaneously with nothing in mind and just kind of poured it out from the brain. I've never really done that. Usually there's a goal in mind. Usually it's a piece, it's an article, right? We're co-collaborating with Forbes right now. You know, things like that. So there's kind of a vision or a direction. But yeah, that was the first time I've just spontaneously wrote, and maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. I haven't reread it yet.
But that is like the perfect. So that really explains how giving yourself space and time for inspiration, right? I think all too often we get like caught up in the frenzy, like literally the tornado of life, and everything is just whipping around us and we're just sort of not present. We're just doing the things because we don't have the wherewithal to stop and like think about what we're doing. But when you take that time to really like have space between you and like the have tos, right? And the shoulds, but you can just be and be in that space. Like you were inspired, which is fascinating, and you took inspired action and wrote the poetry. I think that's such a beautiful thing. We don't imagine how much inspiration we're missing out on because we're not allowing ourselves that time to be in alignment and just accept whatever messages are coming from wherever you believe they're coming from. Like, that's so fascinating. And that you've never, ever sat to write poetry before is so incredible. I used to write it all the time when I was younger. So now I'm like, damn it, now I got to give myself some space to write some poetry today.
One of my consulting clients that I work with, one of his WIGs, wildly important goals that we developed, was to write more poetry. So as I was working with him, and this is something I always say, like coaching someone, mentoring someone, consulting for someone, like I learn so much too. It's the best way for me to learn is to teach. So when I'm teaching him this, what I know, right? 4 disciplines of execution, wildly important goals, lead measures, lag measures, scoreboards, trackers, right? Like all the systems, this system that I've learned, that I've consulted on, I've studied, I implement myself. One of his wildly important goals was writing more poetry. Well, I have to brag a little bit on this gentleman because he's an ace. But we worked the first month, he got 3 articles published, his poetry. So
that is awesome. Oh my God. That's incredible.
you think about these things, right? And it's like, wow, he focused on it. He gave himself the time. So when I had the time, I focused on it. And yeah, they may not be great. They may not be anything special, but like it's special to me and it's great to me because it's something that I've never done before that I did. And it's something that I felt good about. And it's something that I took advantage of the time to sit back and think. And like, as you were talking, like we never have time to create, to inspired time or time where inspiration flows and motivation. And I think back of like all the artists, all the writers of amazing literature, like all the inventions, Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, and like all these old school folks that built things we use today. They weren't working 9 to 5. They weren't working 80, 90 hours a week as an entrepreneur. Like they were literally testing and trying, doing things that gave them energy. And in those moments of reflection, building and developing what we use today, right? Like Galileo didn't go to work every day, right? Like he didn't. Or Ralph Emerson, like, Walden's Pond, like he wasn't, clocking in and clocking out. Like he was reflecting over days and months and years and crafting and sculpting this amazing level of literature. So I think back to those things and, wow, I'm just grateful. I'm actually in the moment having gratitude that I had time to just sit there for 2.5 hours and think and pull stuff together and do something I've never done. Do something that I never thought I'd do either. I never thought I'd actually sit down and take the time to write poetry. And here I am through inspiration of what a client doing it and crushing it and enjoying it and feeling into it and realizing how it's important to his personal development, his being. Wow. Like I learned so much from that gentleman,
It's amazing. I think that for people that do have to clock in, right? For people like we do have to work, what we're really saying is carve out that time. We get so in our heads of like, I have to get to this next thing. Even if that time is waiting in the, the line, the pickup line for the kids, instead of doom scrolling, right, on social media, do something else that is towards your wildly important goal, or allow yourself the freedom to think outside of the box. Be the creator that you really are. Use your time. There are pockets of time where you can think, create, and slow down. We're just, instead of utilizing that time to create, most of us are consuming. And so we just want to sort of have you flip that a little bit. If you notice in your day, just be aware of those pockets of time where you really could have moments of inspiration, but instead you're maybe doom scrolling or not working towards your wildly important goal, right? Utilize the time that you have in a way that it is for inspired action, and not consumption. And that's really what your goal is today. Just like Jim literally gave himself some time to just relax and open up his mind to inspiration, and he wrote multiple poems. Like, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Allow yourself those times too. You may not have the 2.5 hours, but you may have 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes that you can pad in to your schedule. And if you're not padding in that time, which we've talked about last week, of you shouldn't be doing things back to back to back to back like Jim usually does, and hopefully is not anymore. You're not allowing yourself that time for inspired action or inspiration. So today, sort of think about that as you go about your day. Where are pockets of time that you can at least just stop thinking for a minute? And if you're spending that time doom scrolling, all I ask is that you not do that. Don't. Just utilize it differently. Even if it's just sitting and being in the moment and just breathing and not doing anything else, that will probably completely change the whole trajectory of your day, honestly, for the better. So utilize the time that you do have. For those of us that have to clock in, for those of us that do have a job where we can't just create every day, find the pockets of time where you can. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, it's just so important to carve that time out, because for me, that time usually gets blocked and then overridden. Like that's the time that I cut when I'm looking to add, or something flares up, or something pops into my life that I have to move stuff around. Those are the times that I cut it. So if you're anything like me, just notice and realize that. And then, and I would just, what producer Rachel said, like integrate those time periods, right? Like I think back about when we were traveling for Easter, the kid, one of the kiddos fell asleep, the baby, and my wife went into the party, right? She went into the Easter lunch, and I sat out there for an hour and 10 minutes because he sleeps longer when Caitlin's not around. We think it's like a hormonal thing because she's breastfeeding. Like he'll wake up,
Probably
cry,
you can smell it. He's like
yeah,
food.
so I'm like, oh, he's gonna sleep for an hour and 15 minutes. This is great. And I wrote 3 sets of rules for my the human connection experience, the game that I'm building. And that was an integration of time that I could accomplish something that needed quiet time and inspiration. He's sleeping in the back. There's no music on. I'm in the car. Everybody's in the house celebrating Easter. Let me use that hour and 15 minutes to let that inspiration flow. So that was just another example of exactly what you just said, Rachel, of that level of integration, knowing that I'm going to have an hour of quiet time in the car by myself. I could have pulled out Facebook and scrolled. I could have posted on Instagram. I could have consumed, but instead I created. And is the rules perfect? No. Am I happy with all 3 sets of them? No. I'll probably re-edit them. There's 2 I'll probably throw out. There's a 3rd that needs some more work, but like micro compounding moments, which we talked about the other day, giving me energy. I'm moving one step forward to the process of putting this game out. Like my goal is to put this on shelves next to Cards of Humanity in Targets and Walmarts and change the world around deep human connection. So like it's a long process. It's a big, scary thing for me, but I'm taking those steps, and we've got the cards, we've got the flow. We're just finalizing the rules. So integrate those in those times that you can, where you have quiet time, where you have time that you can get in flow. And if it's a baby nap before Easter, take advantage of it, because I accomplished a step in the roadmap that I needed to take to get this thing done. So,
and if people want to know more about wildly important goals, that Jim mentioned, WIGs, join Impact Effect Community. We talk about it in the community. We have training sessions on it. And we all need a wildly important goal, something to like move the needle forward. Like what is it that we're working towards? And I think a lot of people need clarity on that. And unless you take the time and the space to actually like start to figure that out, you're just spinning your wheels a lot of the times, right? You're just like, I don't know why I'm doing all of this. I'm just doing it because I started doing it. Now I can't stop. So think about joining the community. We're here for you. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
See you tomorrow,
Bye, everybody.